Hi, Surabhi. Welcome.
Hi, hi Neha. Thanks a lot. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on Circle of Life for this live session. And I welcome my audience also for this very informative and uh, you know, such an important topic to be discussed about parenting, that is helicopter parenting. जनरली हम लोग बच्चों को ओवरली कंट्रोल करने लग जाते हैं. वी आर वेरी
Right,
कॉशियस अबाउट देयर एक्शंस, what they are doing, what they should do,
right.
what should they eat, and how they are eating, and all those things. But we don't realize that with time we are turning into a helicopter parent, which is not at all a good thing for the development of the child. So today we are
Absolutely.
discussing about helicopter parenting. I will excuse myself because my throat is really very bad, but we had a
You're
commitment of this life.
still sounding very sweet. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank you so much, Surabhi. So we had the commitment of this live, and here we are. And I would like to welcome my host, sorry, and my guest, Surabhi, who also is a parent coach, and she puts out content on Instagram, a very, very informative content for that matter. And Surabhi has worked as an HR generalist for 5 years in a corporate sector, and she's married to a olive greens, and has a lovely son of 19 months old, and now a parent coach by profession, and she pursues art and craft for as a hobby. So welcome, Surbi. I'm really delighted to have you here for a live session with me.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Neha. And it is all my pleasure to be a part of this interaction with you, a very important interaction on helicopter parenting. With you,
Yes.
of course, you are a parent coach, so nobody knows it better than you.
So, right. So, first of all, I would like to clear out to the parents who are joining that what is exactly is helicopter parenting. जब हम बच्चों को उतना स्पेस नहीं देते कि वो थोड़े बहुत डिसीजंस, आई नो वो कंप्लीटली सारे डिसीजंस नहीं ले सकते, लेकिन कुछ कुछ डिसीजंस ले सकते हैं, which is important for their development, which is important for their self esteem and image, to develop, and their confidence to develop. तो जब हम उन्हें ओवरली कंट्रोल करने लग जाते हैं एंड उनके हर डिसीजन को गलत ठहराने लग जाते हैं, प्लस वी ट्राई टू पुश देम कि जो हम कह रहे हैं एज पेरेंट्स वही सही है एंड उन्हें वही मानना पड़ेगा. सो दैट इज हेलीकॉप्टर पेरेंटिंग. So, Surbi, please throw some light on this. That what exactly is helicopter
Yeah.
parenting?
See, Neha, I would like to begin with that no parent would willingly, want their child to become overly dependent on them, right? So every parent wants the best for their child, and
Right,
unknowingly through their, actions, parenting actions, they might make the child over dependent on them, and they might, end up becoming a helicopter parent or a over,
right,
controlling a parent who is always intruding into the lives of their child, right? And let me tell you, more than 60% of the urban population is doing the helicopter style of parenting these days, and they are one of the happiest parents because they have got it all under control. They are the
right,
happiest human because there are no uncertainties. They are laying the path for the child, they just have to walk on it because they have removed all the obstacles from their
right,
way, right? So there are a number of reasons how and why a parent becomes a
right,
helicopter parent. Number one is out of love and affection. It is their way of pampering the child, it is their way of showing their love to the child. You don't have to get up to get that glass of water. बेटा मैं जाके ले आती हूँ पानी तुम्हारे लिए, तुम बैठे
right,
रहो आराम से. So why do we do this? Out of love and affection. We don't think that it is going to make the child over dependent on them. Tomorrow, for every glass of water, the parent will have to go get it. Or tomorrow, for every glass of water, the child will expect कि mama ही लाएगी या पापा ही लाएंगे पानी.
right,
You know, that way. Second most prominent reason is out of impulsiveness. Supposing uh, just imagine if a 3.5-year-old is trying to button up his shirt, and the parent is just standing there and watching, and there are a number of things going on in his head, number of things they have to get done. And
Right.
even you and I, we will also intervene. Let me do that for you. We have a lot of other tasks to do, right?
Right.
So impulsiveness is another point. Then parents are scared that the child might spoil the show. They have this fear of failure. They want perfection. They think that they can do it better. Now, obviously, if the parent is doing the homework or the assignment, they can do it better because they are the
Right.
adults. They can definitely do it better. But it is meant for the child. It is meant for the child to,
Right.
rake up their intelligence, to use their
Right.
intelligence. So that is another reason. And parents would, want them to have perfect grades, want them to go into one of the best colleges and get into the career of their dreams, parents' dreams, not the child's dreams. Right. That
Mm.
is why they get so, controlling and intrusive into the child's life. Then if the parent was neglected in his or her own, in their childhood, then again this would happen. If they were on the other end of the spectrum, वो neglect हुए थे अपने बचपन में, तो उसको वो compensate करना चाहते हैं अपने बच्चों को attention देके, over attention देने लग जाते हैं वो,
Right.
just to
Right.
compensate that. And some parents would emotionally fall apart to see their child suffer physically or mentally, and they will do everything in their power to not let that happen. So anxiety plays a major role when it comes to helicopter parenting.
Right.
Then social media is the biggest villain of our times. We can't live without it also. and
No.
and the number of disadvantages it has in our life. Parents, they start feeling peer pressure when they check their feeds on Instagram or Facebook, and they see that, okay, we whenever we go out on a weekend, we need to have a real worthy outing. We need to go to exotic location. Their idea of spending quality time with a kid is having such grand outings, such grand vacations, which is not essential. So peer pressure plays a major role for the child as well as for the parents. And today's time, it is more for the parents in this competitive
Right.
environment. More for the parents, because then parenting actions are influencing the child's life in turn. Um, then, sometimes the parents would start attaching their happiness, their satisfaction on the success of the child. Their child is living their dream. So they start attaching their identity with that, with the
Right.
success of the child, which
Right.
mounts a lot of pressure on the child also. And the parent is again too much into the child's life then. And sometimes the parent feel that, okay, we are financially very comfortable, itni kuch mara mari nahi ho rahi ghar pe. One parent can stay at home for the child rearing purposes, even if the child is not very small.
Right.
Both the parents can work, both the parents can have a career of their own. Still one of the parents would choose to stay at home to look after the kids. And that parent who is who has specially left their job to look after the kid would definitely overdo
Mm.
things for the
Right.
kid. Now I'll give you a very perfect example. And if any parent would listen to this example, they will never become a helicopter parent. A very simple example: when a child is learning to walk, do we stop that child out of our love or affection? It's okay, you don't have to walk. हम उठा गोदी उठा के ले जाएंगे तुम्हें, तुम्हें क्या चलने की जरूरत है ना?
Right.
या फिर तुम out of impulsiveness की, oh, you're walking so slow, let me carry you around. We don't do that. Then out of fear that he might fall, she might fall, might get hurt, again, all of these factors are not playing when the child is learning to walk, because as a parent we see it as a very important skill, very important life skill. So just like walking, Emotional development is also very important.
Mhm.
So, right. So, yeah. So,
So,
these are the prominent reasons.
no,
Yes.
Surbi, I completely agree with all the points which you have mentioned over here.
Yeah.
You know, people who are neglected in their childhood, like try to give them more to their child, so that उनको वो भरपाई वाली फीलिंग आए कि अच्छा ठीक है, हमने अपने बच्चे को उतना प्यार दे दिया, तो मतलब वो फीलिंग फुलफिल हो रही है। बट
फुलफिल
दे
हो
डोंट
गया है।
अंडरस्टैंड कि एक जगह पर जाकर उनके जो कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे वो भी उन्हें ही फेस करने पड़ेंगे। बाद में
राइट।
जाकर जब वो बच्चा कहेगा कि मुझे कोई इनिशिएटिव लेना ही नहीं है एडल्ट ईयर्स में जाकर, देन दे विल नॉट इवन अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट इज देयर मिस्टेक।
एग्जैक्टली। एग्जैक्टली।
सो
वेरी ट्रू।
वेरी वेल सेड। यू नो बट यू नो so when does this overprotect when does this protectiveness becomes over, or turns into a helicopter parenting? What is
Right.
the point which takes a turn, and it becomes very overly done?
See, once in a while, every parent is guilty of going overboard, doing something
Right.
extra for the kid. But to the degree, to which degree and to which frequency a parent goes, किस हद तक, और रोज के रोज अगर ये रूटीन बन रहा है पेरेंट और चाइल्ड के लाइफ में, तो वो ओवर प्रोटेक्टिव और वो हेलीकॉप्टर पेरेंट बन जाता है। फॉर
Right.
एग्जाम्पल, अगर कोई टीनेजर, ही इज ट्राइंग टू डू हिज होमवर्क, और वो कहीं फंस जाता है और वो अपने पेरेंट के पास जाता है मदद के लिए, तो उस टाइम पे पेरेंट उसकी मदद करे, वो नेचुरल है। वो हेलीकॉप्टर पेरेंट नहीं हो जाएगा, दैट इज ओके, दैट इज ऑब्वियस।
Right.
बट अगर इफ द टीनेजर इज ट्राइंग टू डू हिज होमवर्k and the parent is constantly standing on his shoulder to check things like, is he using the right pen, is he writing neatly enough, I hope he is not making any spelling mistakes, is he writing within the margin, is he skipping any question, that becomes a helicopter parent. You're overdoing things, right? So that is when you become a helicopter parent. If you're a toddler's parent and you're shadowing every fall of the kid, every, trying to
Right.
protect the child, it is responsible. See, if if one day a toddler climbs a tree, and that tree is dangerous, it is responsible for the parent to stop them from doing so. But if from then onwards the parent says that from now onwards you will not climb any tree whatsoever, that becomes a helicopter parenting.
Right.
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 When you're not letting the child do things which are independent to his age, and you're not letting the child make decisions which are independent to their age, then it becomes a helicopter parenting.
Right.
हर लंच बॉक्स खोल के दो मुझे, क्लासरूम तक छोड़ कर आओ बच्चे को, बच्चा स्कूल बस चढ़ रहा है, उसको गोदी उठा के आपने स्कूल बस पे चढ़ा दिया, असिस्ट दैट पर्सन, टेल हिम कि यहाँ पैर रखो, यहाँ से पकड़ो, अब खुद को खींचो ऊपर होने के लिए।
Right.
मदद मदद करना मतलब ये नहीं कि उसके लिए कर दो काम, मदद
Hmm.
करना है इसकी, गाइड दैट पर्सन टू
Guide that
डू
person.
अचीव द गोल।
Right.
So
Right.
that is when it becomes a helicopter parenting, when it becomes a regular affair.
Right. Right.
बच्चे के लिए बैग पैक करके दे देना, स्कूल बैग पैक करके दे देना, बच्चों के को करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज सिलेक्ट करने लग जाना विदाउट एनी
Hmm.
इनपुट फ्रॉम देयर एंड, बच्चों को बताना कि किससे फ्रेंडशिप करनी है, एंड whom to end friendship with, when to end friendship with somebody.
Right.
That is, the personal space is completely diffused, and there is no scope of personal development, personal growth over here.
Right.
It is entirely detrimental to the growth of the child in such circumstances, in these
Right.
examples which I've given you. Parents would even go to the extent of training the coaches of their child, कि मेरे बच्चे
Hmm.
को ऐसे ज्यादा समझ में आएगा, या उसको ऐसे करके दिखाओ, हम उसको बेटर जानते हैं, तो वो
Right.
उनको उनको कोच करने लग जाते हैं। दैट इज हाउ दे ओवरडू थिंग्स ऑन देयर थिंग्स।
Very well said. People try to teach the teachers also that,
Exactly.
हमारे बच्चे को ये करना है, वो करना है, आप ऐसे कराना, वो ये नहीं कर सकते, ये कर सकते हैं. So school is an environment where each individual is, has a, unique space there. So
Right.
the teacher doesn't, do biases on that basis कि आप अपने बच्चे को कैसे parent करते हो. Yeah, she considers everybody equal in that matter.
Equal.
But,
Right.
mm, helicopter parents try to control that thing also. So I think parents need to be mindful about it. That,
Very
they
much
can't
so.
control everything every time.
Actually, people would walk up to the teacher and tell them ki, make my child participate in this extracurricular activity. Why is she standing in that line? She should come in front.
Right, right,
And
right.
those things,
Exactly.
they want to control each and every minute, micromanaging every activity the child does. Let them fight their own battles.
This
Don't
not
don't try to
only,
control.
curbs the experimenting nature of children, but also hampers their confidence to an extent कि आगे चल के वो कुछ भी नहीं कर पाते. They can't face the outer world afterwards.
They cannot. They cannot
Right?
because सब कुछ उनके लिए decided है पहले से. Decision making तक नहीं कर पा रहे. Children, if a 4-year-old can select what they have to wear on daily basis. उनको options दे दो if you think they're not making
Right.
appropriate choices. Give them options. Lay down clothes कि अच्छा इसमें से क्या पहनना है. Let them choose. Let them decide. Let them practice their gray cells brain
Right.
so that they're able to and taking care of small things like personal hygiene, washing hands before eating, washing hands after using the washroom. A 7-year-old can even take up the responsibility of feeding the pets. एक बार
Right.
सिखा दो, बता दो कैसे करना है. नॉट कि वो ध्यान रखने लग जाए या वही सारा काम करे, बट आना चाहिए. These are basic life
आना
skills
चाहिए.
which
Yes.
everybody should have, doing
Yes.
household chores without any shame of gender, without any, thinking कि क्यों करना है.
क्यों
अगर आप कल
करना
को
है?
अब्रॉड चले जाओ पढ़ाई करने के लिए, आपको करना पड़ेगा काम. आपको आता ही नहीं करना.
नहीं
then
आते. Seriously. Yes.
then you will feel like a person who has never done it. Then you will feel nervous how to handle,
Mm.
how to do things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't
So
steal opportunities from the child. That is what I'm saying.
exactly, yes. So we throw some light, that why do kids actually need the freedom which we are talking about?
Yeah, see, I want to give you a very good example here. We start treating our kids like bonsai trees. छोटे से bonsai, precious trees जो होते हैं ना, and we are carefully clipping and pruning them, making them into this perfect form of perfect human being in every aspect. ये वो गलतियां ना करे जो हमने करी है, इसको वो फेस ना करना पड़े जो हमने फेस किया है, इसको सही टाइम पे सही चीजें सिखाएं. you know but we don't understand that they might not be a bonsai tree. They could be a wildflower. They could have some
Right,
other qualities.
right,
And so all we need to do is to give them nourishing environment to flourish, whatever they are, in whatever field they want to do well. They need to flourish, and they need to rake up their intelligence. They will surprise you with their intelligence. If you never
right,
give them a chance, you will think that your child is good for nothing. सब कुछ तो हमने बताया, और जब चांस दिया, आपने चांस बहुत लेट दिया ना, तुम ये नहीं रियलाइज कर रहे हो कि आपने वो
right.
चांस, वो अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत लेट दी है. कि अब
Lately,
बच्चा इज एट द एंड ऑफ देयर टीनेजर्स, लास्ट ऑफ एंड ऑफ टीन्स में चला गया है. तो नाउ यू एक्सपेक्ट कि अब ये he or she should be bold, should take decisions, should
right,
be initiative, have that initiative. Then you say, why is he so laid back? Why is he lacking so confidence?
right,
There is no shortcoming, but still that happens. So, number one point, why a child need to do things on his own, because it gives him or her that sense of accomplishment. खुद से कुछ करके, खुद से कुछ अचीव करके, चाहे वो छोटी सी चीज हो, एक सेटिस्फैक्शन, एक सेंस ऑफ प्राइड मिलता है बच्चे
right,
को, जो बहुत जरूरी है फ्यूचर प्रॉब्लम्स के शेयर का, फ्यूचर प्रॉब्लम्स को फेस करने के लिए.
Hmm.
एक्सपीरियंस करने के लिए.
Right.
कुछ होगा, something should be there at the back of the mind, that memory कि okay, if I face that situation, I can do this also very well. It is somewhat the
Right.
same or related, right?
It
Then
develops resilience in children, actually.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely, very well put.
Hmm.
Then it gives them the confidence. Very important
Right.
factor. It
True.
gives them that confidence. It helps in emotional development of the child.
Hmm.
They are better able to handle their emotions and deal with their emotions, or express their emotions as and when
Right.
it is required in an appropriate manner. If
Hmm.
they have never faced any, because the child has had such a perfect life that whenever they had any problems, the parent would dive in and help
Right.
the child.
Hmm.
So they have never faced disappointments, and which is a very scary situation. That
Hmm.
later on, when in their life, when they face disappointments, they are not able to accept it, which will affect them mentally. And decision making skills. It is one
Definitely.
skill you want your child to have when they leave the nest. जब चिड़िया उड़ जाती है, तो चिड़िया को पता होता है वो अपना ध्यान रख लेगी खुद से. Wise decisions, you know weighing all the pros and cons and taking wise decisions is
Right.
required. And the parent should also be confident at his or her heart कि okay, I have parented my child well enough that they'll be able to take their own decisions. They are not dependent on us or anybody for that. They'll be
Right.
able to take wise decisions. हमें ये डर लगा रहता है वो गलत डिसीजन ले ले फिर कल को.
पेरेंट्स एक्चुअली पर्सनली ले लेते हैं ये चीज, यू नो
या
कि हमारा बच्चा गलत डिसीजन कैसे ले, हाउ कम, हमने इतना अच्छा उसको सिखाया है, इतना अच्छा उसको पाला है पोसा है, बट हाउ कैन दे टेक अ रॉन्ग डिसीजन, बट दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट for them to learn from that failure or from that bad decision they have made. It is so important that future में चल के वो डिफरेंशिएट कर पाए कि पॉजिटिव डिसीजन क्या है एंड नेगेटिव डिसीजन क्या है.
राइट, राइट, राइट. एंड देन कुछ लोग इनडिसाइसिव रहते हैं बहुत ज्यादा पूरी लाइफ.
राइट, राइट,
डिसाइड ही
एग्जैक्टली.
नहीं कर पाते हैं, या डिसीजन लेके दे गो बैक ऑन देयर
हम्म.
डिसीजन. Why
हम्म.
this happens? Because they haven't practiced. It is a skill which needs to be practiced in time, well within time. अगर वो टाइमली नहीं प्रैक्टिस हुई है तो later on in life a person cannot develop that skill, cannot excel in that skill.
ट्रू, ट्रू, ट्रू.
Right, till the age of 25 years, mentally the person is developing on these lines. After that, the growth in that sense would stop,
हम्म.
definitely. Then they will learn social skills also, if they are independent to their age. If they are facing problems, their own problems in the school, if they had some conflict with the classmate or with the teacher. School is a
राइट.
perfect place for learning social skills. Let them
हम्म.
solve, till you see that okay, things have not gone too bad and the child may be able to resolve on his own. Leave it to child to some
राइट.
extent. If you feel that things are going very, they are taking a very ugly turn, then you can intervene.
राइट.
Right? Don't jump in at the very instance of any kind of conflict when it comes to socializing
एग्जैक्टली.
with the kids. Then they need to learn life skills also at home. Very basic things, doing household chores. A 7-year-old cannot do their laundry on their own, but they can definitely put the dirty clothes in the laundry basket. That much they can do.
राइट.
So learning basic life skills so that tomorrow if you are somewhere, you are alone, you are able to manage.
राइट. ट्रू.
Yeah. So it is not what the parent does for the child, it is what the child is able to do for himself, which makes him a better human being,
हम्म.
a successful human being. In professional environment, those people who have done household activities, they are more likely to succeed.
राइट.
Because otherwise they'll keep waiting for a checklist कि हमें बताया जाएगा क्या करना है.
हम्म.
There is no checklist. Cutthroat competition चल रहा है.
हम्म.
Be it anywhere in any profession. Nobody
राइट.
will come and tell you have to roll up your sleeves and be there. Okay. see कि क्या क्या requirement है and jump in. That kind of an attitude will come if you have inculcated these small things in the child lives from the very beginning.
राइट, दैट डिपेंडेंसी इंक्रीजेज, बच्चों की पेरेंट्स पे जो डिपेंडेंसी है वो बढ़ जाती है आफ्टर वी ट्राई टू डू एवरीथिंग फॉर आवर चाइल्ड, एंड देन वी थिंक आगे चल के हम लोग सोचते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा खुद से इनिशिएटिव नहीं ले रहा,
क्यों नहीं
अपने
ले रहा
करियर
है?
के बारे में नहीं सोच रहा, या फिर सारा दिन लेजी बन के बेड पे लेटा रहता है. सो दीज थिंग्स वी डेफिनेटली नीड टू कीप इन माइंड.
Right, right. Be more mindful with every activity you do as a parent, because unknowingly every parent might become a helicopter parent.
राइट, राइट, राइट.
Nobody would deliberately want that to happen.
So, Surbhi, we have discussed all the things that, what is a helicopter parent, and, why we become a helicopter parent, or why kids need that space in their life. But I want to understand what are the negative impact of, being a helicopter parent, and what are the negative impact on children basically if they have a
That is
helicopter parent.
that is a very important question you have asked. And the negative impacts, if we see in our society, can be seen all over the place.
Right.
Number one being low self-esteem and confidence. If the
Mm.
child has never done things on his own, is not independent to the age, has not taken decisions which are appropriate for his age, then they will lack those confidence and the self-esteem, which might turn into depression and anxiety later in life. It will not
Right.
just go away because a person has transitioned from a teenager to an adult, and they
Okay.
might fall into depression. Then this I've already told you, they might be very indecisive. Decision making
Mm.
skills would be lacking in such children. Then they'll be over dependent on their parents and on the people around. They would always
Right.
want some kind of a help, and help not meaning assistance, but help meaning do it for me. That kind of a help.
Right.
And
Right.
and some of the children, they also develop this sense of entitlement.
Mm.
They become used to our privileges, and they
Mm.
start feeling that they are entitled to these privileges. And क्योंकि आदत हो जाती है, हर
Right.
टाइम स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट रिसीव करने की
Mm.
आदत हो जाती है, and then they
Exactly.
have a very rude awakening later on in their life,
Mm.
when they understand ki, okay, not everybody is going to pamper them, and not everybody is going to give them special attention wherever they go,
Right.
whatever they do. And that, so if you want to really want something good for your child, you would not want that to happen later on.
Mm.
You would not want them to get hurt. Then the child might start resenting parents. बच्चे को
Right.
लगेगा कि पेरेंट ने मुझे कभी ट्रस्ट ही नहीं किया. Obviously the child will someday
Right.
or the other realize कि parenting कैसे गई है. When they become parents or when they become adults, they might look back at their childhood, how their life has been, and
Right.
they might realize कि they might start blaming the parents, right? They might start then moving away, cutting themselves off from the parents, from the family, because they feel that they are the ones to be blamed, and
Right.
which is to some extent correct. Then they have underdeveloped life skills. They don't know how to go about the household chores, how to go about the daily
Right.
routine. That becomes a challenge. Living a daily routine life becomes a
Right.
challenge. They will lack initiative. They will have a laid back attitude. जैसे आपने बताया कि क्यों बैठे रहते हैं, कुछ नहीं करते पूरा दिन,
Right.
dependent, waiting for things to happen for them. कोई ना कोई करे. Then they will have a very poor coping mechanism. uh,
Right.
नहीं ले पाएंगे disappointments, नहीं ले पाएंगे failure. जैसे toddlers सीखते हैं ना चीजें गिर गिर कर, फेल हो के बार बार, then they learn.
Right.
उस टाइम पे हम उनको सीखने देते हैं कि नहीं अभी
Mm.
जरूरी है, बिकॉज वो हमें दिख रहा है. बट जो उनका मेंटल इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है वो हमें दिख नहीं रहा है, इसलिए हम
Mm.
उसको वैल्यू नहीं करते. तो उनके
Value नहीं
कोपिंग
करते.
मैकेनिज्म्स बहुत पुअर होते हैं.
Right.
सो दैट इज अ वेरी बिग लिमिटेशन,
Mm.
वेरी बिग ड्रॉबैक.
Completely
right,
agree with all the points you have shared. Parents should understand that, they need to fall in order to rise. So
right,
और ये तभी होगा जब वो करने देंगे, जरूरी नहीं है कि हर चोट पे आप बैठ के बच्चे को प्यार करें। कभी कभी थोड़ा सा उन्हें उस पेन को फील भी करने देना चाहिए, सो दैट दे अंडरस्टैंड दैट okay, this is how pain feels. This is, because outer world is not as simple as we think.
right.
And
People won't be so
हमेशा ही
sympathetic
वो
towards you.
हमेशा ही वो बेड ऑफ रोजेस नहीं मिलेगा उन्हें. दे नीड टू गो थ्रू द थॉर्न्स. So very well said, and I completely agree to all the points, that we should be mindful about these things, कि इन चीजों के negative impacts क्या हो सकते हैं. So, Surbi, we have discussed all these important points. So now the main point comes that, what the parents, how they can adapt the exploratory or experimenting nature of children, because we all know कि बच्चों को एक्सप्लोर करना कितना अच्छा लगता है. दे नीड a space to make mess, and they need to make their own decisions. Sometimes even toddlers, they'll fight with you to wear a particular dress, or or do a particular activity their way. So
Right.
what are the tips for parents over here?
See, if one is already a helicopter parent, is one is already
Mm,
overdoing things, it's loosening the reins is a very difficult activity. But
right.
if the parent is mindful, they will learn how to let go, right? And I'll give you three simple steps how to
Mm,
become a mindful parent and how to, incorporate being less of a helicopter parent in their daily routine. Whatever, if your child is trying to do something for the first time, trying to button up his shirt for the first time, trying to make a, if a grown up child is trying to make a presentation for the first time, so it is very natural that at the first attempt they will not excel. At the first
right.
attempt they might fail. Okay, so you don't have to intervene at the very first attempt the child is making. Let them
Yes.
try, and 70 to 80% chances are there that they might not be able to achieve their goal in the first attempt. Give them another try. In the second attempt, the child might be able to achieve the goal. The child might be able to complete the activity which they were trying to do, or they might not be. Give them another try. Be
Right.
patient, don't be impulsive, and give them another try. In the third attempt, also, if they are not able to do things on their own, then you can intervene. And by intervening, I say don't end up doing things for them. बैठ के पीपीटी
Right.
आप बना दो, करके दे दो होमवर्क, शर्ट के बटन बंद करने की कोशिश कर रहा है बच्चा, उसको करके दे दो. Give them instructions कि ऐसे करो, कि let them do things on their own.
Mm,
अपने हाथों से उनको चीजें करने दो, तभी वो सीखेगा. एंड से अगर वो थर्ड अटेम्प्ट में भी फेल हो गया, नहीं कर पाया खुद से,
mm,
and if you are all the more mindful parent, and it will be an icing on the cake अगर आप उसको एक और अटेम्प्ट दे दो,
right.
and fourth attempt तक. So now you have given enough chances. The child has failed also. The child knows कि अच्छा fail होके भी again you can try. It is not a big thing.
Mm,
Even you and I as adults, we do understand that at the very first go, when you are trying something for the first time, we cannot be perfect at it,
right.
right? So the same approach has to be adopted with the kids also. We have to be very mindful, we have to be very patient, and we
Right.
have to be less impulsive. And for the anxiety which the parent has of the fear of failure, they might hurt themselves. You need
Mm,
to do some kind of, meditation, some deep breathing exercises also to, give the kid, the chances which
right.
he or she is meant to have. Let them fail, let them explore, right?
Right.
And So this is how, if you follow these three steps or four steps, if you're all the more mindful, you can become less of a helicopter parent or less of a overprotective parent if you have become already.
Very well said. Some amazing tips out there. Parents are going to really benefit from it. you know Being mindful in parenting is really very important, because we generally tend to lose our patience when it
Exactly.
comes to our children, because you know they are exploring things, they are developing their skills, their fine motor skills, their gross motor skills, and it is a process. It doesn't
Right.
come in one day. So we need to be very mindful about all the things, and especially our parenting style. We don't need to intervene a lot in the decision making of our children, because it helps them to develop autonomy, and it helps them have their own freedom, and it also helps them to learn what actually a failure is, because
Right.
everything they will not get on the plate, they have to earn it on their own
Yeah.
when they
They have to
go
struggle.
outer in the world. so
Yeah.
uh, thank you so much, Surbhi, for such an insightful session today.
Thank you,
Really,
Neha.
really
Pleasure is all
loved
mine.
all the things you have shared. I hope the parents also have benefited from it. So, if anybody has any question related to it, you can ask. Or if you want to see the session again, you can go and check out my videos. I'll post it over there under the video section. Uh, and if you have any question, you can ask in the comments. We will be happy to answer it. So, thank you so much, Surbi, for coming today and having such a lovely session with us.
Thank you, Neha. Had a really nice discussion with you. And I hope the viewers and I hope the parents who will watch it later on, they do benefit from this video.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and have a good night. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye, Surbi.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Have a happy weekend. Take care,
Same to
you
you.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.